Hi, my name is Ben Upton with Family Legacy in Nashville, Tennessee, and thanks so much for joining me as we talk a little bit about Earth Day. And so Earth Day started back in 1970, and this is, oddly enough, the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And Earth Day is really about taking care of our planet for future generations. And you might say, well, Ben, why talk about cremation placement on Earth Day? It's really because the two really go hand in hand. Many families tell us that they don't like the idea of putting a large casket involved in the ground. It takes up too much room. They would prefer to use a small urn, which is obviously a lot smaller, right? And so it takes up less space, and they get a lot of different options. And a lot of families that I talk to just aren't aware of what all those options are and what's available to their families. So I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss that with you today. And, and before I get into that, I'd really like to discuss a little bit about memorialization. When you think about the importance of it, if you've ever visited the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., there's 58,320 names currently on that wall. And the power of the granite wall is the names, right? All those names that are on there that represent a life, and it represents someone's family member. And the veterans that served alongside them that come to be able to visit and find a little bit of peace, a little bit of comfort, knowing that their brother that they served with, their sister they served with, is permanently memorialized. And so our goal is to really help every family be permanently memorialized at one of our 6 perpetual care cemeteries. We have Harpeth Hills out on Highway 100 on the edge of Bellevue and Franklin. We have 2 cemeteries in Gallatin, one in Jolton, one in Hendersonville, and one in Springfield. This makes it really convenient for our families in the communities that we serve to be able to come by and visit their loved one and spend a little bit of time having that specific place to be able to go. So when it comes to choosing what those options are for your family, there's really just 4 basic choices that we go through. One choice is to do home placement. So a lot of families say, well, Ben, I'm just going to take my loved one's cremated remains, take them home, take mom home in that urn. And that's really okay. For me to take someone home now is probably okay, but my daughter's family, my daughter's kids one day, her grandkids one day, right? It's kind of scary to think that far ahead, but for all of us, we don't know what future generations are going to do with that urn. And so that responsibility becomes a little bit of a burden. We've had families that walk in with 3 or 4 urns in a box, and they just want a secure place to put them. So when it comes to choosing, permanent placement instead of home placement, again, home placement is really a short-term choice. We want to give you a specific place to be able to come to where not only can you memorialize, but those that care about your family member, that care about you, can also participate in that memorialization process, because if they're at home, the only person that gets to memorialize them is you as you walk past that urn every day as a reminder of your loved one being gone. So we recommend a lot of different options within our cemeteries. We have private placement where you could have your own columbarium, where you could have a community columbarium or niche. We offer all sorts of different customization options when it comes to permanent placement rather than home placement. Then the next option, your second choice, is really when families say, Ben, I just want to scatter. When you think about scattering, it's important to understand that although scattering is legal in most areas, it's important to understand that on any kind of public property, you probably need to check with the local authorities and make sure it's okay to do so. But we don't know what that place is going to look like. Let's say I decided to scatter my loved one's cremated remains on a golf course, and 50 years from now, that golf course becomes condominiums. That might not sit too well with me. And so thinking about long term, scattering just a portion of them and placing the majority of the cremated remains permanently in a safe, secure environment in one of our cemeteries is an option we recommend. We also have, when it comes to scattering placement, we have a community scattering area that has a cenotaph wall to where your loved one's name can be permanently etched in either granite or bronze, to be able to give everyone that really cared about you a specific place to be able to go. The other 2 options, really niche placements and then permanent placement in the ground in our cemetery, those are both really long-term choices or even permanent choices when you think about, are you going to come back and take them? It'd be easy to do with a niche. It'd be a little tougher to do if they were buried in the ground. But we have all sorts of cremation placement options from boulders that can be customized, from benches. I mentioned the columbariums earlier. We have glass front niches. We have all sorts of just granite options that allow a lot of personalization and customization that families just weren't aware of. And we even have our bronze butterfly boulder, which is one of our most unique concepts. And so when it comes to ground burial, you might want to be buried on a hill or in a valley or under a tree or wherever you might be. So it gives you a lot of different options to be able to personalize, your loved one's final resting place. And when you think about a home placement or scattering placement, those aren't really final resting places. Those are really temporary places that may change to something else later. So that's why we offer a $250 cremation placement certificate that's good for really a free placement in our community scattering area at each one of our cemeteries. So we'd love to share more information with you about that. If I can help in any way, again, my name is Ben Upton. Feel free to message me and let me know if you'd like more information on this. Thank you.